This week on iBN Southeast, some of the top plays from this electric region are on hand for you on our regional replay. Plus, Dallas Jackson, the senior analyst from Rivals High, stops by, tells us who might be on the move up or down from the Southeast region. It's all coming up right here on iBN Southeast. Hey there, high school football fans. This is iBN Southeast, and I'm your host, Sam Farber. Well, the rain tried to wash away all the games from yesterday in the Southeast, but we still caught up with a couple of them that were able to be played. Let's get you right now to the regional replay. First up, we've got a nail-biter out in Miami. Number 52 in the Rivals High poll, Miami Central taking on Booker T. Washington's Tornadoes. Quarterback Austin Stock revving up the Rockets. He'll go for 40 yards through the air to Darrell Joyner. These two would be hooking up all day long. Later on, Stock to Joyner again, this time for 45 yards. Play action included on it. That puts 6 more points on the board for the Rockets. As for the Tornadoes defense, well, once again, they're going to get torched here. Stock to Joyner. They had a third touchdown. This one for 38 yards. Joyner's total on the day, 131 receiving yards, 4 catches, and those 3 scores. Booker T, though, had a fourth quarter comeback in him. This is Treon Harris going to Nicholas Norris through the air. It would go for 75 yards, making this a 6-point game. Harris scored the game-tying touchdown here on the quarterback keeper. Scampers into the land of 6, and this one was very close going to the end, but a field goal nearing the buzzer would send Central to victory 29-26 over Booker T. Next to North Carolina, Cherryville at Chase. Chase QB Tyrese Gossett. He's going to connect here with Blake Martin. Martin had it, lost it, got it back again in the end zone. That made it 7-3 Trojans. Later, linebacker Shane Pearson is going to take the handoff himself, and he'll run it back the other way. Chase goes on to win 52-10. Down to South Carolina, Dorman visiting Greenwood. Quick score here for Greenwood, but the bigger play coming up here from Spearman Robinson. He's going to sprint it up the left sideline, cuts it back into the inside, and he would go in for the score, 28-16 the final. Finally, it's Union at Gaffney. Gaffney showing off all their weapons, scoring 6 touchdowns in the second quarter alone. Joey Copeland was 11 for 14 for 283 yards and 3 scores, including a 76-yard touchdown to wide receiver Quinshaw Davis. Indians win 62-10 over Union, setting up a major matchup with state rivals Burns. That'll be next week. That's going to be a huge game. That's your regional replay. Now to come and break down some of the big matchups from this neck of the woods. We've got Dallas Jackson, the senior analyst from Rivals High. Dallas, we just saw some great highlights from Greenwood versus Dorman, and those two teams have one thing in common. They both lost to a big-name team in that neck of the woods, Gaffney. Gaffney's got a big matchup coming up. Talk about this team and the chance it has to make a big splash in the Rivals High Top 100.
Well, Gaffney's really impressed over their opening 4 weeks of the season. Like you mentioned, they have big wins over Greenwood and Dorman, 2 teams that are typically among the 10 best in South Carolina. We're going to be heading out to that game this week against Burns, and we expect to see big plays and a big defense from Gaffney. A lot of folks in that area are talking about this might be the best team they've ever had, and when you're talking about a program that has 16 state championships and you start throwing ever around, that's a big statement. So we're going to find out what Gaffney has, but right now they look very impressive.
Elsewhere in the Southeast, Florida always a superpower, and there were some pretty monumental upsets in that state in this last week.
Yeah, you know, there were two upsets that really stood out to me, and it's hard to call them upsets. Vanguard knocked off North Marion this week, and they did that in the playoffs, so it kind of isn't very surprising, but it's still a big win. And then in South Georgia, Valdosta beat Tallahassee Lincoln, which was a defending state champion, and we had them having very high marks entering the season. So those are 2 games that really took me a little bit by surprise for the North Florida teams to go down that early in the season. But it is Florida. There's plenty of good teams to fill those spots, and it's just a reshuffling of the deck in Florida.
All right, Dallas, we appreciate the insight. We look forward to talking to you again next show. That's going to do it for iBN Southeast. On behalf of the cast and crew, I'm Sam Farber, thanking you for watching. And keep some of those great highlights from the regional replay in mind. You might see them on iBN National in the top 10. Thanks for watching iBN Southeast.